Alright, today we're going to learn how to make this cute table runner. And as you can see, it's ready for serving coffee and tea to your guests. This can be informal, or like most people, our table runner can clean up and go to a 5-star restaurant. You could break out the fine china and have a little bit more of a formal afternoon if you just wanted to be fancy. One of the ways we can use this is as a bed runner for just a little holiday pop, or maybe to keep your feet warm if you live in a cold area. There is our table runner / bed runner stretched out across a US king size bed, and as you can see, it goes all the way across. It's 86 inches by 14 inches. To start this table runner, I started with half-yard cuts of each of these 5 fabrics. Everything on the screen came from Joann's, and then 2 1/4 yards of this Kelly green color. First block we need to make are 12 of these 6-inch log cabin blocks, and they're carved log cabin. As you can see, the white part is skinnier than the green part, and with all the pieces exploded, it looks like it would never go together, but it does once you take off the seam allowance. Now we're down to the last 2 pieces, and as you can see, they're a bit too big. I did that so that if anything got off, if anything was too short, shrunk when I ironed it, anything like that, these would be a bit long and I can trim them to fit. So I'm going to put this one on, and as you can see, it's going to be a little bit too long, and I'll trim it to fit and square it up. It's just a little bit of insurance. So as you can see, it turned out just a little bit too long, and we will just trim that off. Then we'll put this last piece on. So we'll trim this one last corner, and now everything's square. There are 12 of these, and there are multiple ways we could put them. We need 4 sets of 2, so I'm going to sew 4 sets of 2 log cabin blocks like this. Also, our center block consists of 4 of these log cabin blocks. So there's the center of our table runner. So this is everything for our Shamrock block. We have 4 6x6-inch squares, 3 in whatever color we're using for our Clover, and then 1 in whatever color we're using for background. And then we have 9 2.5-inch squares in the background color. Some long strips of the background. We'll cut those to size. And then a 9.5 by 1-inch strip of anything green, and that's going to be for the stem. The first thing we'll do is we'll cut our background square in half on the diagonal. And this is to make our stem block. Then we'll take and we'll sew these together like this and trim them square. Usually just do this part free-handed. Now we have the stem to our clover and we need the leaves. The first thing we need to do with the leaves is take all of these and flip them over. And draw a line corner to corner on the back. And that one got off. I've got some white chalk because it's black fabric. I won't be able to see my pencil mark. We're going to be using the stitch and flip technique. We take one of our 6x6 squares of the leaf fabric and lay it face up. I did one clover in each of the green fabrics and the white with green shamrocks on it. Then we lay these with the line side up on 3 corners. And we'll sew on that line and flip it over. We leave this corner undone because that goes into our stem. The end of that step looks like this. And then we'll just trim off these corners. This part doesn't have to be exact. Just leave enough fabric that it doesn't start fraying into your seam allowance. Now we'll just give all of these a press and we'll put the clover together. There's our 3 blocks. There's our 3 clover leaves and a stem. And there's our clover block all put together and with the border on the outside. That's just a 1-inch border. So now we'll take our central block and we'll sew one of the shamrock blocks to it. I'm going with the darker one. And we'll slide that over. And we'll put one of these units on it. And I'm doing it with the white arrow pointing toward the darker shamrock. And then I'll add this other shamrock over here, and I'm gonna change the orientation of the shamrock a little bit. And this next log cabin we'll add with the white arrow pointing away from the shamrock, so it kind of bookends the shamrock. We've done the same for the other blocks. Those are 2 other shamrock blocks and then some more of the log cabin blocks. So now we'll just attach this side to the central block. And here is our finished table runner. I added a border to the outside. This is 5 strips, 1.5 inch by width of fabric. I just sewed them end to end and then sewed them along the table runner. When I do my borders, I like to just put them on and then trim them to fit rather than try to measure and get it right and hope I don't stretch anything out. I'm actually less likely to stretch something out by just adding the borders and then trimming them to fit. So let's go get this quilted. So we'll have one last look at our table runner dressed up. What do you think? Will you do informal and cozy, or will you do 5-star and formal? Let me know in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.